Testing. Okay, I'm just paranoid now about my microphone because it was unplugged when I did my last video and I did the whole thing with no sound. So, oh man. Anyhow, okay, I'm really early and I know it. But hello, my friends. I'm just reading here. Okay, good. We're good. Oops. Geez, now I'm excited. Okay, so I am here. This is Valerie with Sure Scraps a Lot. I am here for your Use Your Stash Summer 2025 embossing folders this week. I have two techniques I'm going to show you, and they both involve using inks, which you can see here. All right, I have my Distress Oxide inks, and then I have my white pigment ink. Now, if you do not have a regular white pigment ink, but you have the Distress Oxide Picket Fence, that will work very well as well. So please go ahead and use that. And then I have picked out a couple of embossing folders that I'll show you in a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, don't forget, if you want to talk in the chat live, you must be signed into a YouTube account. Doesn't necessarily have to be yours if you don't use one. If you want to borrow a friend's, that's okay. So long as they don't mind. All right, I hope you're having a terrific week. Mine has been a bit off. And if you read my post, I'm going to knock that over again, I think. If you read my post earlier this morning, you'll know that this week has just not been the greatest week for me. So that's why I'm here a little bit later than I wanted to be. But I'm here now, so that's all that matters. And I hope that you will try these two techniques out for yourself. Even if you're not following along with me, that's okay. I'm all right with that. But please let me know where you're from and when you're watching, even if it's in the replay. And if you're in YouTube, you can comment in YouTube on replay, or you can put something in the chat. You can also let me know in the Facebook group. All right, because there's a post in there and I have the link for my live stream, so you can find me. And then I will post the actual link for this particular live stream later. All right, so that you can find it exactly. All right, so just because of how things have been going this last week, I'm going to have to reevaluate when I'm doing my lives. And it has a lot to do with my husband working part-time now and our two dogs that are very needy. So if you have dogs, if you're seniors, you can relate. I know you can. So how are we doing for time? Also, don't forget, if you have not yet done it and you are interested in diving in a little more into paper crafting, don't forget to join my SSAL, which is Sure Scraps a Lot, paper crafting community. All right, it is free to join. Anybody can join that's interested. It is not a public group. It is a private group, and I'm keeping it that way. Just because I don't want to have problems with bots and spammers and whatnot, all of that fun stuff that the public groups have to deal with. All right, I'm just looking here. It's not quite 11. I don't want to start yet. The other thing that I want to remind you of is my bonus program. All right, this is not with Creative Memories. This is strictly with me. And if you are interested, please go to my Facebook page and you will find in the featured section or the pinned section all about that. All right. And I've recreated the group so that you do not necessarily have to pay. If you want to, if you want to just keep your life simple, you can just pay. It's $25 a quarter, and then you get 15% off all my classes, most of my classes, I should say. And you get free access to my workshop windups, which are once a month, where you can come into the studio, work on your own projects. And they're normally $15 for the day. And I have lots and lots of stuff, fun stuff for you to use in my studio: stamp sets, inks, machines. I've got a cinch, 2 die cutting machines. I've got a Cricut, you name it. There's just a lot of stuff in here. Stamp sets, embossing folders, dies. Yeah, it's a great studio. So let's see, where are we here? What else can I tell you about? All right. Oh, I have a card class coming up on the 30th. All right, and it's all about containers. So some people were a little confused by that. And so I'll just set the record straight. The cards each focus on a stamp set or die set or both that are some type of container. So one of the cards, if you go and look at the event on my Facebook page, you'll see that one of the cards features candy jars on the front. One of the cards features drinks, cool drinks in different shapes and sizes of glasses. And then there'll be 2 more coming that are a surprise, but you can get some hints from the title photo that's on the event in Facebook. So, and I will leave a link for that after we're done streaming here. Okay, it's 11 o'clock now, so I think I'm going to get started. Oops, sorry, I forgot to turn my runner off. There we go. All righty, so I'm going to leave my YouTube open so I can see if anybody is saying anything. All right, so I did not mention that I'm going to be using non-stick mat. This is my oh man. Now I knew it, but now it's just gone from my head. That's what I say. It's just been one of those weeks. I just have not been functioning properly. I think it's waffle flour. That's it. All right. The reason I picked this, because I really do prefer the retired, close to my heart, non-stick sheet, the big one, but it's very reflective. And then so is my glass mat. So that's why I picked this one, because it's silicone and it's not shiny. It will do the job, but it will not reflect back into the camera. All right. What do I want to show you? I want to show you my white pigment ink. Okay, I've got a collection of different distress oxides. Okay, I'm going to pick one for the background because we need a darker background. And then a green one for leaves and a yellow for the petals. And then I have another part of the petals. It's not exact. I don't know what it would be called. Maybe buds, flower buds, that I might use this on. I'm not sure yet. All right, so got those. And then I've got my daubers. All right, and I'm using the bigger ones. You can use finger daubers if you like, but they take a little longer. Okay, and I do prefer the domed ones to the flat ones because you get less marking, like the circular marks. All right, and I have my microfiber cloth here as always. All right, I can't live without these. Okay, and then I've got, where did I put them? I've got my pre-cut card fronts. All right, and I pre-cut these to 5 1/4 because the 2 embossing folders I'm using today are square ones. So that's what my cards will be, is square, because I don't want to lose any of the images. Now I also cut myself a dark green, and I changed in your supply list because I don't know what I was thinking. You can't use white cardstock for this first technique that I'm going to show you with the white pigment, because it won't show up. Okay. All right, so now the embossing folders I'm going to use are, not that one, changed my mind. I'm going to use this one, which is the Painted Trees from Stampin' Up. Okay, I got this last winter. This was from their winter collection last year. And then I never had a chance to use it. So I'm using it today. All right. And that's what I'm going to use the green paper for. And the other one is the Lisa Horton Fall Bouquet. All right. So you can see the sunflower here. And then like this could be a baby sunflower, or it could be a daisy, like it could be whatever you want. All right. So this one's going to have the white cardstock, and this one I'm using the green. Now I already went ahead and embossed this one. So you can see how great these 3D embossing folders work. They just give you so much detail. Okay, so this is a very simple technique. It's very easy to do. You just need your embossed piece of paper and your white ink, and that's it. All right. So first of all, okay, I'm going to focus on the areas that are actually embossed. So there's one tree here, one tree here, and one tree here. Just bring this in a bit so you can see better. All right, and I'm going to use, I'm going to angle my brush, not my brush, my ink pad, and I'm just going to do some small sweeping motions over the part that's embossed. Okay, and I'm tentative at the beginning because I want to see how it's going to look. You can always add more ink, but you just can't add less ink, right? Okay, I like that. We're coming together here, so now I'm going to move across. Okay, and I'm using a very light touch here. I'm not worried about getting white on the background. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, and I'm just going over it very lightly. And then I will look at it and I'll see if I want to add any more ink. Once I have all of these done. Okay, and you want to go in the same direction. If you're in the Calgary area, I posted a whole bunch of things on the marketplace last night, or yesterday afternoon, I guess. Okay, so go have a look at those. All right, so now that's the first step, and I just am checking it out now, and I think I want to put a little bit more on this side. So I'm going to go the other direction, but still keeping it in going horizontally. Okay, because I was a little light-handed there on the right sides of everything. I'm not sure why. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, I just love that. Okay, now this is where it all comes together. I'm going to take the same ink pad and I'm going to start dabbing. Okay, just dabbing. Oh my gosh. So I'm just going all over and I'm just watching to see when I think it's enough. So maybe I pressed a little too hard there, but I think that's okay. Okay. Oh, MG. I'm loving this. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Oh my. Oh, that is just so beautiful. A snowy winter night. All right. So now remember, as I explained last time, that I'm not going to bore you with actually putting the cards together. Okay. I just want to focus in on technique. And then you can go ahead and finish your cards off any way you like. I will do the same. And I have created a photo album in the group, and you can feel free to put your cards in there or not, or even just if you want to put your finished technique sheets in, that works too. All right, so that's that one. And then I thought it might be kind of fun to try something a little different with this embossing folder. Okay, so I did it off to the side. So this one you can see I used the full embossing folder. And this one is just this piece. All right, and I started with the white, but then I got a little nervous, and so I stopped. But I can see now that I don't need to be nervous. I can go ahead and I can add a lot more white to this one. All right, so if we look at them together, I really like it where I just went for it, right? Okay, so that's the first one. Done, right? Now, the heat tool is if you are working on this to create your card right away. Okay, you can, because pigment ink and distress oxide inks take a little bit of time to dry because they're very thick. You want to go ahead and create your card right away. Just hit this with the heat tool, do it on both sides, all right? And then that will dry that fast, and you can go ahead and create your card. Okay, so that's that one. Now, for the next one. This one I'm going to use my white cardstock, and I just want to give this a quick squirt just to make sure I don't have any white ink in the way. I guess it wouldn't matter too much because we can't see it white on white, but okay. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to use this, the Lisa Horton Fall Bouquet embossing folder. All right, and so we're going to start with our white cardstock here, and we need a dark color. Okay, so I wanted to try walnut stain first, and if I didn't like that one, then I think I'm going to go with the black soot. But you can use any dark color you like, okay? And I'm going to use my dome sponge, and I'm just going to wipe a bit of the excess ink off of here. Okay, I do not have a sponge dauber for every single color. I have a set of sponge daubers, and I use, like, for browns, I use this one. For yellows, I use this one. For greens, I use this one. And then I just wipe off the color that's on the top onto my microfiber cloth because it's very absorbent. And because these are water-based inks, it comes right out when you wash. Just remember, do not use fabric softener in the washing machine or dryer sheets in the dryer when you are washing these. A bit of laundry soap, that's it. Okay, now remember when you're using your distress oxide inks that the ink often sits at the bottom of the pad. So you have to give it a little bit more of a push than you do with this type of linen ink pad. I think these are they're not linen. I just can't remember at the moment which one they are, but they're not linen. Okay, so I'm going to start off the page and very lightly, and I'm just going to go across. And I want to just see how dark I can get this. Okay, you want full coverage here. Okay, I think this may not be dark enough. Let me try one more go at it here. See, the color on the edge is what I would really like to have. I'm going to give it just a little more oomph here and see if I can get that color. And you want to go over the entire piece of cardstock. Now you can see, using the sponge dauber, you don't get those circle marks from the edges of the flat daubers or the flat sponges. Okay, and I really like that. So, yeah, I converted quite some time ago. Okay, I can see that this is going to be the perfect color for what I am about to do. All right. The thing I find the most awkward using embossing folders is figuring out your sandwich, because every single one of them almost is different. Like, well, and I guess I can't really put anything on the packaging because every machine is different. So I do not use my Vagabond for embossing folders. That's my electric one. I always use my Big Shot because it's a manual one. And I don't want to take a chance. Like, the vagabonds are not being produced anymore. And so I don't want to take a chance on messing up my machine. Okay, so I need a little bit of scrap paper here. So I'm just going to, oops, that was close. Almost wore that one. I just took a little piece out of my notebook. I'm going to put it down here, and that way I am not getting the ink all over my fingers, and I'm not marking up my paper, because I don't want to leave fingerprints in the background. I think that might be noticeable. Alrighty. So I'm pretty excited that my niece and her family are coming down from St. Albert next month for a visit. They usually come for a few days. They have to stay in a hotel now, though, because the boys are so big. They have 3 boys. When they were little, we used to just pile them all in one bed. We can't do that anymore. They would just not be happy. Okay, I'm almost done here. Oops, don't do that one. Okay, I think this is about as even as I'm going to get it. All right, now that will still be a little bit wet because the distress oxides take a couple of minutes to dry. Okay, and if you didn't know this already, you probably do, but just in case, if you didn't know it, distress oxide inks are very unique in that they are a combination of pigment ink and regular dye ink. So you get that that depth of color that you get with pigment inks, but you get a quicker drying time than you do with pigment inks because they're pigment ink and dye ink together. Like, it's quite a unique formula that he uses. And I'm going to, I just noticed as I was talking there that I got a spot here in the middle that's a little lighter. I'm using quite a bit of pressure here. Okay. I think that will do just fine. There. Pick this up and try not to touch the front until it's completely dry, just because you will leave fingerprints and oils on the front, and that kind of ruins the effect here. Okay, I'm just going to take a moment to clean this off. Okay. Also, I was thinking that if there was anything specifically you wanted to work on, like if you've got a certain tool, I probably have it, or technique you saw and you'd like to see some more details on that, please just let me know. You can leave a comment here. You can leave a comment in our Facebook group. It's entirely up to you where you comment. Okay, so now I'm going to open up my embossing folder. I'm going to center my paper, more or less, because I want the entire image. Okay. Oh, that looks perfect. Okay, and now I'm going to feed this through my big sheet. And let's just see what happens here. I'll try it first. Regular sandwich. Let's try it. That combo's not right. That was with layer 2 open. So I'm going to close layer 2 with one plate. May be enough, but may not. Just a second here. Got nothing to look at. Oh my gosh. Here. These dries on that for a minute. I just want to check. Yeah, I need more. So shim it is. Sorry. So now I've added a shim here. Oh boy. That'll be enough. Okay, yeah. All right. So we can get this out of the way here. Okay, and now here we have our piece embossed. Isn't that a beautiful image? Okay, now you can see a little bit of white broke through there. Okay, that's not a problem. I'm just very gently. Okay, I don't need a lot of ink because we already did that. And I don't want to push down on my image too much. Now, the thing about these Distress Oxide inks is how beautifully they work together. All right, they just blend so nicely. Okay, so now the thing I wasn't sure about was what I was going to do about the center of the sunflower. But I think with the color I've used for the background, I don't have to do anything to it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my green dauber. Okay. And I'm going to get some ink on it. Now I don't need to worry quite as much about the ink coverage because we're not going to be like doing full coverage. I'm just going to pick my leaves out and I'm just going to start just gently adding a little bit of color there. Here. Okay, and you see how with these domed daubers, you can really target these very nicely. Okay, and I'm just looking for just my leaves. So over here. This is just so pretty. And the thing about this type of technique is that it just wows people, but it's so simple. Okay, so I'm really angling my sponge here to get where I want it to go. Now also, we don't need to worry about covering every little bit of each of the shapes because we've already put a color on everything. Okay. Now with these very detailed embossing folders, you have to keep turning it to see what you've got, right? Because sometimes it's not obvious that something is a leaf until after you've colored something else. All right, and so I think these are also leaves here, and I'm not going to worry about doing two different greens for two different types of leaves. That's way too complicated on a Friday morning. Well, it's Friday morning for me. It may not be Friday morning for all of you. Okay, and I just want to make sure that I keep a good amount of ink on my sponge. It's not getting in there. And it doesn't matter if you get a little bit of the color on the background. Okay, this is not like a perfect coloring session like you'd get with alcohol markers or pencil crayons. All right, you're just leaving impressions, right? Okay, I'm going back over because I just want a little bit more color on these. Okay, perfect. And you know, one thing I never noticed when I looked at the embossing folder was these little berries here. So what I was looking at was this right here, this one. You can see that. Whoops, right there. Okay, I wasn't quite sure what color that would work for that one. Okay, just a few more leaves here. Okay, and if I've missed any leaves after I'm done with the yellow, I'll go back and fill those in. So here's the yellow I picked for the petals, fossilized amber. And I forgot to mention too that this green peeled paint, it's one of my favorite greens in this line. I use it a lot. Okay, so here's my yellow dauber. Just getting some of the ink off. Back a little bit. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to work on these petals. Oh my. Okay, I'm glad that brown worked because I think using the black wouldn't have been nearly as effective as this yellow. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, I'm loving this. Loving, loving, loving. Okay, and while I'm working on this, please don't forget to like the video or the post, depending on where you're watching. Okay, you can subscribe to my channel. The more people that subscribe, the more people see it, see my videos, my channel. And also share. Like if you've got friends that you know love paper crafting, but you know that they don't know about me, please share. Okay, oh my. I am loving this. I am just so loving this. I hope my head's not getting in. I'm getting so into this. Oh, look at that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so I'm going to just, okay, did I get all of the daisy or sunflower? I think I did. Okay, I'm just going to get that yellow off of there. Okay, and I want to use some of this tea dye ink, which is technically a brown. So I'm just going to clean off some of that darker brown off of here. Oops. Another thing I have found with these domed daubers is that they last a lot longer than the flat ones. Because mine, they just disintegrate after a while, and these ones just don't seem to do that as readily. I just really want to make sure, because that was a dark brown I was using. Let's see. It doesn't appear to be coloring my ink pad, so I think we're okay. All right, now where was that little guy? Oh, right here. OMG. Oh, I'm loving this so much. And I think, okay, I'm watching this unfold before my eyes, and I'm thinking I would like to do these little round guys here in a darker green. I think. So let's, okay. You see, you're here as it unfolds, right? And I love that. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So just bear with me. I'm going to run and grab a darker green. Helps when I have all my distress oxides sorted by color. I'm going to use Rustic Wilderness. Okay, so get my green dauber. Oh, this is so pretty. And it looks like like a shadow just descended upon it. Okay. Okay. Something very important about these inks is remember to keep the lids on them unless you're actually using them. And if you watch my tip videos, one of these days I am going to talk about your Distress Oxide inks. But that's just a quick little tip for you now. Okay, and I'm just really lightly daubing these because they're small. And I'm just using the edge of my dauber. Oh, wow. Oh, Val, be still my heart. Okay, so these obviously are taking a little longer than the last technique, but sometimes we have more time to spend, right? And this is just gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. I am just loving this. Loving, loving, loving. Okay, and you know, while I've got this dark color out, I think I'm just going to give these just a taste. Okay, these are the sharper leaves. So then they'll stand out. Now you'll notice I didn't put any fresh ink on. I'm just using what was on the dauber. Okay, there a little bit more. Hardly adding any. Okay, oh. All right. Whoa, 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 whoa. I love it. I'm just enthralled. Okay, I have to go back to the other thing now. Now I'm going to spend more time with more floral embossing folders. Bear in mind, this was the 3D one. Okay, so you can use regular embossing folders for this technique, but it just doesn't have the same effect. Okay, I really wanted to get that green off because it's darker than what I'm going to be using. Okay, so where was that? Oh, over here. I missed a little bit here. Okay. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more of that green over here. What I missed here. Whoa. Okay. I wonder what would happen if I added a little bit more of that dark brown walnut stain. Yeah, that's the one I used. I hope it is. To the center. Yeah, it is. Just hit the highlights with another coat. Okay. I am just so in love with this. Well, sunflowers are my favorites anyways. All right. So that is it. Okay. And then I wanted to also show you. Oh, and I didn't bring it over. Hold again. Sorry. OMG. That is so beautiful. From far, from near, it doesn't matter. It's gorgeous. Okay, so now what I have here is Distress Glaze. Okay, now the thing about Distress Oxide inks is that they're water-based. And so anytime you add water, it doesn't matter how old this gets, it will react with the water. All right, and we don't want that. So that's one of the things that you can use this Distress Glaze for. That's very thick. Okay, you want to use a cloth, a soft cloth. Okay, and you want to get Not too much. You'll see how much you need. Okay. And then you just want to, now it's best to do this when it's fully dry. Okay. And this may be a little bit wet still, but we'll see. Yeah, it is, but that's okay. Just where I re-inked. Okay. And I'm just going to go over this. And I'm just going to keep moving my cloth, which you wouldn't have to do if you were patient and let it dry, because I don't want to get that color mixed up. Okay, and you can just see it's sealing in this whole inked area. Now, because I've inked the entire card, I'm going to have to go across the whole background as well. Okay, and I will not bore you with this whole thing. But I know some people have never heard of Tim Holtz's microglaze at the front, the distress glaze. All right, but this is a really great product to have around. All right. So I'm just going to go through there. All right, and you can see where you've been because you can see that bit of shine that you get from the glaze. All right, and once the glaze has dried itself, then nothing will disturb this. All right, so even if you sprayed water on it, it would not react to it. All right, because it seals the inks in. Okay, I think that is it. Oh, and by the way, I have these in stock. I think most ladies don't know what to use it for, and so they're not interested. They think they're not interested. But if you use Distress Oxide inks, this is one really good use for it. All right, that is it for today. I think I am done making a mess. Okay, this one's definitely going in the wash. Remember, no dryer sheets, no liquid softener or any type of softener. Okay, a little bit of laundry soap only, and then throw them in the dryer, and they are good as new. You might get a little bit of staining, but doesn't matter. Doesn't affect how to use the cloth. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try it. I hope you share your card fronts or your finished cards. I will share my finished cards into the photo album when I'm done. And as I mentioned before, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, whatever is in your heart. And we'll be talking to you very, very soon.